From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, House of Representatives rejects bills to regulate children of public officers study abroad. Travails of Abba Kyari continue as Attorney General begins extradition process. Wife of suspected killer of Hanifa Abubakar testifies in court. And on the foreign scene, Norwegian Refugee Council chief calls for immediate ceasefire as Kiev and Moscow set to hold second round of talks. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. House of Representatives rejects a bill seeking to regulate studies for wards and children of Nigerian public office holders abroad. Sponsor of the bill, Representative Sergius Ogun, said the bill, if passed into law, will strengthen the indigenous institutions, provide efficient service for national development, amongst others. The report.
The current state of education in Nigeria has remained a matter of concern, with the nation's universities consistently getting low ranking in the world. This is one of the cogent reasons for the mass exodus of Nigerians overseas for studies due to incessant strike actions by university lecturers, poor lecturer-to-student ratio, to name but a few. When it comes to traveling overseas for studies, wards and children of the elites, particularly public office holders, usually take the lead. Most times, wards and children of the ordinary Nigerians bear the brunt of these strike actions, as their parents cannot afford to either send them to private schools or send them abroad for studies. The funds used by these elites are most of the times alleged to be sources from public purse. To this end, Representative Sergius Ogun in the bill highlights the need to regulate the practice of public office holders sending their children abroad for studies.
More than 75,000 Nigerians are reported to be studying in Ghana, paying well over $1 billion USD annually for tuition fees and upkeep. Most of these foreign students are children, ward of public servants and political office holders who ostensibly cut away public funds to a private use. For private use. It is against this background that this bill is proposed to regulate this trend and position our educational system for global competitiveness.
The bill, however, met with resistance, which started from the Deputy Minority Leader, Toby Okechukwu, who said there's no proof regulating international studies in any way that proves the standard of education in Nigeria. Other lawmakers who contribute to the bill opposed the bill in a bill to make the sponsor of the bill withdraw it.
Is it likely that children schooling overseas is the reason why our educational institutions are not working effectively? We must make a distinction, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, between hiring competent people who should man offices, who should be responsible, who are acting based on knowledge, as against legislating for things that may not in a real sense cure the problem.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, may further this bill in section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic offensive very strongly, except you amend this section, then you can be able to say you are bringing this kind of bill to the floor of the National Assembly. For this ground, Mr. Speaker, it offends it completely. It's against the ground norm. It's against the operational compass upon which all laws lay their claims in Nigeria.
It's not maybe because we are public officers, you not see as children schooling abroad. Some have the means, apart from being incumbent. So if you say, because I'm now a member of House of Rep, I should go and withdraw my children from where they are schooling, and our institution here, as he has said, is not in order. Everybody wants the actually, most of us here, I can say, we went to higher institution in this country when the schools were good.
Representative Ogun, however, insisted he would not withdraw the bill. In his response, the Deputy Speaker who presided over plenary said the House cannot be blackmailed.
Our language in the flow matters, and we should not be blackmailed, and there shouldn't be blackmail. Those in favor that the bill be read and say aye. Against say nay. The nays have it.
This is not the first time this particular bill has been presented, and each time it has met same resistance. Lawmakers, however, believe that investment in education needs to become much more efficient, requiring government at all levels to prioritize the sector since it is considered as key to economic prosperity.
And the federal government has reconstituted a team to renegotiate the 2009 agreement it had with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Reconstituting the team, Education Minister Adamu said there is a need to speedily bring all outstanding issues in the 2009 agreement to a conclusion in order to achieve the desired industrial peace in Nigerian higher institutions. Professor Emeritus Nimi Briggs, the Pro-Chancellor of Alex Ekweme Federal University, was appointed as chairman of the team, which will be inaugurated by the minister on Monday, the 7th of March 2022. And the federal government on Thursday approved the request by the United States of America for suspended commander of the Police Intelligence Response Team, Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Abba Kyari, to be extradited over the $1.1 million wire fraud perpetrated by Abbas Ramon, also known as Hush Puppy, and 4 others. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, said the government's approval follows an application filed before the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja for Kyari's extradition. The AGF said the application is coming after a request by the diplomatic representative of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja for the surrender of Abba Kyari, who is the subject in a superseding 3-count indictment. The AGF also expressed satisfaction that the request for the surrender of Kyari is not made to persecute or punish him on account of his race, religion, nationality or political opinions, but in good faith and the interests of justice, adding that Kyari, if he surrenders, will not be prejudiced at his trial, punished, detained or restricted in his personal liberty. Abuja Games Village Residents Association is accusing a private estate developer of invading their estate, building on walkways, cutting down trees and reconstituting buildings in flagrant abuse of the master plan. The developer, however, said he has all necessary approvals. The report.
Chairman of Association Abuja, Abdullahi Yahya, said all buildings in the estate should be a 3 to 4 bedroom terrace flat, but a new development is threatening the serenity of the estate. Yahya said the association are in court challenging the legality of erection of new structure in the estate, but the developers continue with his development despite sustaining court order directing parties to maintain status quo. He accused the developers of hiring 20 policemen to guard his workers' building in the estate when members of the association tried to stop him.
The issue before us has to do with the developers that have invaded our estate, and in spite of the court order stopping them from construction further, which the case is now adjourned till 14th of March. The developer had to go and engage the Nigerian police force. We don't know. We had visited the police severally on this matter, and we had asked them to please, this is a civil matter. Let the court decide. We felt this is a contradicting order. And when you have a contradicting order, you are interpreting it in your own language to suit you. We are also interpreting it in our own language to suit us. Let us allow the same court to interpret and tell us this is what we are saying. We don't have land, we don't have the power to take land from whoever the federal government has issued land to. We are not approving authority. It's not the only one that has come for building. If you go to our recreational center, though that one too have its own issue, but it was resolved. So we felt that at least if they are going to put up a structure, it should be in conformity with what the master plan.
A resident of Games Village, Kemi Peter, retired from the army as colonel, and he corroborates what the association chairman said.
This has been a running battle. The developers have impacted a lot on our security, our sewage system, our green areas, our common areas, and they have destroyed it, and it is no more in accordance with the plan which government gave Games Village when it was established in 2003 after the Koja Games. Our appeal is first, let the police go away from the estates. They are not private security guards. Our estate has been besieged by police. They should leave the estate. The developers should stop working. We have a court date on March 14. It is just barely 2-3 weeks away. Why are they so much concerned that they cannot wait for March 14 for the court to come to decide the way forward?
Responding to issues raised by the Residents Association Chief Executive Officer of City Gates that is responsible for erection of new building at the Games Village, Mike Ijoku, said he obtained all the necessary approvals and no court stops him from building in the estate.
Well, yes, we are doing such a development inside Games Village. I will have all the relevant documents. If they have any issue, they should take their complaint to the SCT or to the Federal Executive Council, which I know they have done already. And at the end of the day, it took 2 years. The minister set up a committee who put up a report after investigation and confirmed that these properties, this development we are doing, were original part of the master plan. I have the order here, an enrolled order. This order, because of Games Village claims on it, we have gone back to the court through the CP, Commissioner of Police Legal Force Headquarters. We have to write a petition, and the Commissioner of Police FCT, the Commissioner of Police in charge of Legal Force Headquarters, has gone to this court to verify the meaning of what the court have said, by what the court means by suspend all further infrastructure within the land. But the same court order say suspend, that is fence. It's talking about fence. Since February last year, they didn't stop us until November last year when we started fencing the estates. They now went, they are the one that went to this court to stop us from the fence. And the court granted their plea that we should suspend all infrastructure within the land. The police have to take their time and go to the court, and the court explained to the police in writing that no, this man was even at the court, the man that is telling you this was in court, and we said fence. But you know, the courts have their, judges have their own language. They can't come and write fence like every other layman. They now said suspend the infrastructure within the plot. And they say suspend infrastructure within the plot and maintain the status quo. As I have stated, the judge said, as he has stated, maintain the status quo as in accordance to my order of 5th of February 2021. So if I were you, what you should now do is to read this order of 5th of February in this enroll order, and the police have made all these findings before they decided to enforce the court order.
Parties to the dispute may wait till court makes definite pronouncement on the matter.
Wife of Abdul Malik Tanku, facing trial for the murder of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, testifies against him at a Kano High Court on Thursday. Justice Usman Abba presided over the sitting. Prosecution Counsel and Kano State Attorney General Lawan Musa led Jamila Muhammad in evidence as prosecution witness. 3 witnesses were presented, including 2 DSS personnel and a police officer IPO in the case, when the trial resumed on Wednesday. The State Council presented 1 other woman and then Jamila, wife of the suspected killer, as the 5th prosecution witness. Standing before the court, she identified Abdul Malik Tanku as her lawfully wedded husband and the second defendant, Hashim, as his long-term friend. Jamila informed the court that her husband brought the girl to the house, pretending that her mother had traveled to Abuja for a visa interview. She said after 5 days, he said he's going to take her back. And the next thing she knew is operatives of the Department of State Security Service coming to arrest them. Counsel to the defendants, M.A. Usman, then cross-examined Jamila before the court discharged her. Under cross-examination by the defense counsel, Jamila said Tanko told her the name of Hanifa's mother is Murja. A total number of 8 prosecution witnesses were presented to the court. The case is adjourned till the 9th and 10th of March for further hearing. And 16 days after the tragic story of 19-month-old pupil Obinna Udeze allegedly flogged to death by his teacher, it has now been established that he died as a result of septic shock. Delta State Commissioner of Police disclosed this during a press briefing at the state headquarters in Asaba, insisting that autopsy results show that his death is not caused by the flogging. Consequently, CP Ari Ali Muhammad said investigation is concluded and the matter has now been charged to court. Reacting to the news, the mother of the boy says her position on the cause of death still remains the same and she's calling for justice for her late son.
According to the autopsy report, the cause is that the boy died of septic shock. Septic shock. That is what the autopsy result says is, of course, the death of, that caused the death of that boy. Not the flogging as alleged. So now that the autopsy report is out, and of course doctor says it is caused by septic shock, we have no option than to charge the case to court. When it gets to court, lawyers, court can do the follow-up from there. It is now going to be the duty of the court to interpret alongside with the medical doctors or whoever that did the autopsy to explain that to the court. As far as we are concerned, we are done with that investigation. The police is done with the investigation of that matter. The next is to charge the case to court. So whatever interpretation the court wants to give to it is left for them.
That the police stay CIA today. Not just quite long I go back. And if this information got, for you to get it, that means it didn't come this evening. I should have been pre-informed. And if I wasn't briefed on anything pertaining this, I would still say I didn't accept it. So I would be waiting for them and for the government, because for me, I can't do anything. I have nothing. I have nobody to run to. The only person I'm begging is God for justice to prevail.
And now to electoral matters, where Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, says the Commission will continue to deploy innovations to improve the nation's electoral process. Yakubu made the commitment in Abuja during a meeting with a delegation from the European Union Election Observation Mission. He explained that several reforms by the Commission, including the creation of additional polling units, were initiated from the recommendations by the EU Election Observation Mission and like-minded organizations after the 2019 elections.
Following an earlier one in 2017, led by Mr. Santiago Fisas, who also led the EU Election Observation Mission to Nigeria in 2015. I'm glad that today's mission is led by Maria Arena, who also headed the EU Election Observation Mission to Nigeria's general election in 2019. After the 2019 general election, we undertook a comprehensive review of the election observation reports by accredited domestic and international observers. Beyond that, we conducted our own internal review involving our regular and ad hoc officials, and subsequently expanded it to include political parties, civil society organizations, security agencies, and media organizations. Of the review has since been published, and it is already on our website, and here is the document. It is already on our website since published, alongside the report for the 2019 general election.
This election observation follow-up mission was expected since some time, and it is very timely, and we look forward to fruitful discussions with your Commission today. The European Union is a long-standing partner of Nigeria and supporter of Nigerian democracy since long time, and we are that we can continue our cooperation. And the European Union has also recently launched, as you know, its new electoral support program in view of the next general elections. And we are very happy and proud to have the possibility to continue working with you, to continue supporting you, and to contribute to improving the electoral process and system in Nigeria, and till the 23 election to have more improvements, because I think there is room of maneuver to do more, to implement this law, because we know that a law is something, but the implementation is more important. And so how this law could be implemented and can be implemented in the next future is really important, and how you can also continue to improve the INEC work, because we just think that INEC is really an important actor during these elections.
And still talking elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is meeting with stakeholders on how to ensure physical presence as against near-zero presence of prospective voters during the elections on the newly created polling units in Kwara State. The electoral umpire also warns against double registration, which it says is a criminal offence. The report.
Low turnout of voters on election day has been a challenge the Independent National Electoral Commission is facing. The electoral body created more polling units to address the problem, but this seems not completely over.
All the recs were summoned to Abuja to come up with the modalities of how we are going to avoid zero polling units. Because the Anambra election that was held, over 1,900 polling units were not used because there were no voters. And INEC had printed thousands and thousands of ballot papers and it was not utilized. The same thing with the FCT election. Over 593 polling units were not used. Some even had just 0, some had 10. So they say we should go back. The essence of why the polling unit was created is not being utilized.
The interactive session is meant to address the issue, and the representatives of political parties and non-governmental organizations were on ground to offer suggestions and ask questions.
The REC, in its remark, the registration exercise commenced last year, June. And those of us that must have gone to do some amendment on our PVC or CVR, when is it going to be out? Ordinarily, one would have thought before the next quarter. The other one, the one we have done, ought to have been ready, so that it will not come at the same time with others after a year of registration.
The police seized the opportunity to warn politicians against any breach of the law as it affects the commencement of campaigns.
I want to at this point tell you that INEC has not officially lifted ban on campaign activities. We are warning you not to do anything that will hit up the state by engaging on political campaign at this point, utterances or publications. We have been witnessing it. We will not hesitate to arrest any party official or his proxy and invoke the wrath of the law.
Stakeholders hope voter turnout will be impressive during the next round of elections, with creation of more polling units by INEC across the country.
And residents of Asaba have expressed different views on the age of who becomes Nigeria's president in 2023. For some, old age and experience are the qualities the next president should have to lead Nigeria. They expressed their opinion in a sampled opinion poll on the matter. The report.
If you look at the situation of Nigeria today, before you to become a president, they must have experience about Nigerian tribe first. A youth cannot come out to be a president of Nigeria today to satisfy some other, unless somebody who have been joining small, like at the age of 50 to 60. So I prefer the old men to be a president of 2023.
All the person, na him born small place. So the thing where all the money, you know, small picking, you know, go know. So the thing where one make a time, all the people who know something, make a control Nigeria.
Others believe that there should be a level playing field for youths as they acclaim leaders of tomorrow and not old politicians.
It's not about experience. It's all about what is called what to do. What to do matters a lot. It's not experience. Experience, we have been waiting for experience for the past 20 years ago. No more experience. Now we are hungry. We need the youth so that things can be okay in the country.
The old, they started as young people. They started as young people. So I believe the young ones, they have something to offer. So if they believe the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, I believe the future is now. The future is now. The future is now. So we have a lot to render. So they should give the youth the chance. They should give us the opportunity. They should give us a playing ground to play along with them in the politics of this nation.
Residents of Oka also believe that youth should be engaged in leadership, while other politicians should play an advisory role.
The last president actually promised us change, and we didn't see any positive change. So I don't think it is rational to still leave the old ones to lead us. I think we need to see some sets of new people there.
The old ones, they have tried, they have done their own. I don't think we really see anything meaningful they have given to us. So it better we try the youth.
We're expecting a new beginning of the youth taking over. We don't want a system that will be governed by men of 80, 90 years who claim to be 55 years.
We're supposed to give the youth chance to rule this country. Because the old ones, I think they've messed this country up, and we don't need their services anymore.
They should allow the young ones, give them the opportunity to take this country to the next level. Because this is what we need. We don't need people who will be taking us back to the 40s. Nigeria is not getting younger anymore. Nigeria is old, and people who are older than this nation is ruling this nation. How is it possible that this nation will go front, will go further? It can never be possible.
They, however, call on Nigerians to get their voters' card and come out en masse on the election day to exercise their franchise.
Meanwhile, flights carrying the first batch of Nigerian evacuees from Romania, Slovakia, Poland and Hungary fleeing the invasion of Ukraine by Russia has been postponed due to technical issues. A source, however, told Trust TV that the delay is largely due to reluctance of some of the returnees to come forward for evacuation. Sagir Ibrahim was at the airport and files this report.
We are currently at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, where we expected the arrival of Nigerian returnees from Ukraine following the invasion of the former Soviet nation by Russia. Now, according to the Nigerian government, about 2,090 Nigerians were expected to return from Hungary, Poland, Romania and Slovakia respectively through Max Air and Air Peace. However, the arrival of the first batch of evacuees, which were expected in Nigeria on Thursday, March 3rd, was however delayed. Now, according to a source who spoke to Trust TV on the condition of anonymity, the flight was delayed as a result of technical issues as well as a reluctance of some of the evacuees to return home. The source, however, explained that the issue had been resolved and the flight should be on its way back in Nigeria on Friday, March 4th, after profiling of all of the returnees by the airlines is concluded. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break, Fake medical doctor in soup.
I never intend to show on live TV like this.
Never like to be on TV like this.
I never intend to show up on TV this way.
This and more after the break. Do stay with us.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others at least 2 meters even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. Now look at our top stories. House of Representatives rejects a bill seeking to regulate studies for wards and children of Nigeria public office holders abroad. Federal government on Thursday approved the request by the United States of America for suspended commander of the Police Intelligence Response Team, Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari, to be extradited over the $1.1 million wire fraud perpetrated by Abbas Ramon, also known as Hush Puppy, and 4 others. And in other news, Nigerians are responding to Nigeria Communications Commission's warning on the existence of a software that steals banking login details of individuals. Some information technology experts in Bauchi said Nigerian government should also do the needful to protect unsuspecting internet users from cyber fraud. Adamu Imam has details.
The Nigerian Communications Commission's Computer Security Incident Response Team has warned Nigerians to be more vigilant of a newly hatched malicious software that still uses banking application login credentials, especially on Android phones devices. Bauchi State residents lamented about the situation, says it's high time for the authority concerned and the relevant agencies to find a solution to the internet problems.
Most of the people, they don't know. Sometimes we used to tell people, don't follow a link, but when you go to home, somebody will call you that I have gotten a message, someone tell me that I'm offer 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira, I should send my BPN or I should call him, and many things. So I want to share this information with the NCC to call or to share to sensitize Nigerian.
Some people have been deprived their livelihood, some people their savings, and the youth really need to understand that crime is crime. There's nothing like working smart, you understand? And I also urge people, the vulnerable ones, to be at alert. Not everything that glitters is good. Sometimes they will say, click this and get this. Just know that it doesn't work like that. And most of the times they use your bank account details to entice you. They say federal government is giving 20 million, understand? And people, desperate ones will be so, desperation is not good. So I urge on everyone, let's be at an alert.
Fraud is going to be on. All you need to do is just be educated, get yourself ready. Any fraud that comes around you, try not to fall in.
While others says the issue of such incident of internet crime can be minimized or tackled only if the user can avoid it and asks for relevant questions to whatever comes strange while browsing.
There are some of these software which are not under the control or the domain of NCC, whereas NCC find it very difficult to control this kind of internet fraud. For instance, now, for instance, if there is a strong legislative power given by the NCC to make sure that all such kind of apps should be regulated within Nigeria space, I think it will go a long way. Then secondly, NCC should be able to have a data of each and every adult in Nigeria that can be able to access internet. By the time they have the data of an individual, they can be able to fast track individual that committed crime.
NCC said the main intent of this malware was to steal credentials combined with the use of SMS and notification through Android phones and interception to log in and use potential two-factor authentication token, as the case may be. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, a fake medical doctor is in police custody in Gombe State. The suspect, named Vincent Ehekia, has been practicing with a forged license in an unnamed private hospital in Gombe Metropolis for a long time. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is a 36-year-old man paraded by the Gombe State Police Command. He is believed to be a fake medical doctor. The police said the man was fingered by a medical doctor who reported him to the Nigerian Medical Council.
Another important case that's worth mentioning is impersonation. One Vincent Edesini, age 36 years, of Ekpoma in Edo State. This one impersoned to be a medical doctor. The command, through information from the Nigerian Medical Council, arrested one Vincent Edesini, age 36 years, of Ekpoma in Edo State, who has been working as a medical doctor at one of the hospitals in Gombe. But luck ran out of him when the director of the hospital, the director of the clinic, noticed that he cannot satisfactorily discharge his duty effectively. Hence, he called for verification of his certification from the Nigerian Medical Council, who after discovered that his license is forged, which led to his subsequent arrest. Meanwhile, the suspect has even confessed to the crime and the reason why he's probably involved in that this unlawful act. After the complete obligation, he will be charged to court.
Speaking to newsmen, the suspect confessed to his crime.
I never intend to show on live TV like this.
You never like to be on TV like this.
I never intend to show up on TV this way. I actually
been accused of having a fake or impersonation.
Yes, yeah, all right. Due to financial constraint, I dropped out of medical school after my pre-clinicals.
What year?
In the year 2008.
So you're not able to go back and complete your study?
Yeah, due to financial constraint, I was unable to raise a fund to go back to school. And I believe this is a deterrent to people out there. There is no don't cut short corners to success. Make sure you do the right thing and you will be successful. On my own part, I know after this ordeal, definitely I'm going back to school and do the right thing and I'll be successful in life. Thank you so much.
Why do you have to wait till this time, since 2008, before you realize this? I'm sure you must have raised some money.
As a family man, family pressure here and there, so I was unable, no sponsor. I was unable to raise funds to further my education. And I believe this is a challenge to me. I'm going out there to prove the whole world wrong. That once a fake doctor now is the real doctor. Thank you.
The Gombe State Police Command also paraded some suspected criminals on various offenses, including a suspected killer and a suspected kidnapper. All these suspects are expected to be taken to court for trial. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And in spite of government campaigns against the practice of tree felling in Nasarawa State, some people in the state continue to cut down trees for production of charcoal. Charcoal business is a money spinner for many in Lafia, the state capital. Abubakar Abdullahi examines the situation and sent in this report.
Indiscriminate felling of trees for charcoal production, despite the ban by government, has continued to exist in the state due to increase in consumption and financial benefit for those engaging in the business. Almost in every part of the state, particularly where forests exist, some people engages in charcoal production for commercial purpose, commencing with the felling of trees in this forest and process the log of trees to make the charcoal. In the process, fresh and dried leaves are placed on the log of trees covered with sand. Fire is ignited and allow for this to burn the log of trees to turn them into charcoal. Later, the charcoal are packed inside sacks and distributed to different destinations for consumption. Because of the financial benefit of the charcoal, its business is thriving in towns and cities across the state, where it's seen displayed to attract buyers. Effort to speak with some of the dealers of the product prove abortive. This could be adduced to the government ban on the practice, and nobody want to be seen on screen for fear of unknown. One thing that should be noted is that many people have become used to the consumption of the charcoal despite the government ban on its production. What will be the fate of these people if the ban is implemented to the latter? Yakubu Kwanta is the Nasarawa State Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources. He said the ban affected only those on commercial production. He further explained that the state forest reserves are faced with serious degradation, hence the decision to ban commercial production.
The Nasarawa State government has never at any time prevented locals from picking twigs and branches of trees in their communities for immediate use as energy source for cooking and other domestic needs. However, we will not tolerate the merchandising of our forest resources by unscrupulous individuals.
He also spoke on the issue of timber production, where he said strict supervision is being put in place to ensure only trees approved and stamped by forestry officers will be used. One of the charcoal producers whose vehicles were recently intercepted in the state, Mazi Ogochukwu, said they are ready to comply with state government order and appeal for leniency. Trust TV News, Abubakar Abdullahi, Lafia.
Meanwhile, fuel scarcity is taking its toll on farmers in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Farmers in the state rely largely on irrigation farming to cultivate farm produce near dams, streams or rivers, among others, where they can easily channel water to their farms. They, however, buy fuel at exorbitant prices to power pumping machines to water their farms. Dixon Adama visits some of the farmers on their farms in Jos, and most express frustration with the lingering fuel scarcity.
Gallon, we are buying 1 gallon 1,000 to 1,005 for 1 gallon, and sometimes we are using 3 gallons, 4 gallons for a day. You see, we are very suffering much. You see, I don't know how. Maybe the farm where I farm said maybe it can support, because I have no money to continue again.
Fuel scarcity is affecting the farm. As you can see, even the Irish is not giving us what we got even last year. Last year we can use just 1,000 to fuel our engine from morning till 12. But this time around, even if you apply 3,000 fuel, it can never take you 2 hours. So it's actually affecting everything, from the farmer, the farm itself, and the products. So it's not. We are just doing it because we are used to it.
You've listened to what the dry season farmers have said with respect to the fuel scarcity, which has also affected them. And they have complained that even if they have the money to buy, they don't see the fuel to buy. And should they even buy, they buy it at exorbitant prices. And it's not enough to even pump water from the dam into their farms. So it's expected that the government should do something about the fuel scarcity so that it doesn't eat onto all the fabrics of the society, and so that the irrigation farmers can continue their farming activities and there will be availability of crops throughout the season. Trust TV News, Jos. Dixon Salami Adama reporting.
And members of the House of Representatives on Thursday expressed grave concern over the spate of fraudulent financial transactions being perpetrated by point-of-sale (POS) business operators across Nigeria. The lawmakers expressed the concern during the debate on a motion sponsored by Jimoh Olajide, who solicited for the House intervention with a view to ameliorate the sufferings of unsuspecting Nigerians who have been victims of the fraudulent practice. In the bid to address the challenge, the House tasked authorities of the Central Bank of Nigeria in the public interest to introduce stringent regulations and guidelines, including sanctions, on the POS business operators in Nigeria. In his lead debate, Olajide frowned at the activities of some of the POS managers using the POS for fraudulent acts to create fake credit alerts to defraud innocent customers. And the recent increase in the price of crude oil in the international market due to the war between Ukraine and Russia is both a blessing and a curse for Nigeria. Mustapha Bintu, a pioneer managing director of Jais Bank, gives this indication in an interview on the effect of the price increment on the Nigerian economy. In the wake of biting fuel scarcity, he noted that the rise may lead to the country's oil revenue going up, but consequently leads to a decline as more money is spent on importing refined oil.
Well, you know, fuel prices always goes up and down like any other prices, and that's why OPEC was created. Now, the recent one you are talking about, the increase in the price of petroleum up to $100, because of the disturbances in Europe, in Eastern, particularly Ukraine and Russia. This is some of the things that is causing the prices to go up. But remember, even before then, it has started inching up. For Nigeria, is double-edged. It's good in the sense that our oil revenue will go up, and therefore foreign currency inflow to the country will also improve. But on the other hand, because we spend a lot of money importing refined oil, the issue about subsidy, until it is resolved, will continue to the gains that we make in the increase in price will come back to haunt us. So that's why it is very important. The issue about this subsidy is resolved. The government has to face it, and we, the people, have to be able to make those sacrifices so that we have a better tomorrow. The PIA is very good in the sense that the rules and regulations defining the game in the oil and gas industry has been very archaic, it's very old. By taking this bold decision to pass the law and bring the PIA into action, will clearly define the rules of the game more clearer. It will be clearer, and it will, in the long run, bring more investment, more sanity in the industry. And then Nigeria stands to benefit from this.
Meanwhile, motorists in Abuja say they pay above official pump price at filling stations to buy fuel. This is coming as fuel scarcity enters the third week and taking its toll on motorists and other consumers. Chamun Dabeng now reports.
Nigeria in early February received a shipment of adulterated fuel, and since then there has been long queues at several filling stations around the country. The fuel scarcity has persisted despite the assurance from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited to meet demand and solve the persistent problem. Prices of fuel in filling stations currently vary, with some drivers saying they buy fuel between 162 to 250 naira. At black markets, a litre is sold for as much as 400 or 500 naira.
Transportation is very high because the sovereign before you got the fuel, and if you don't get the fuel, you know, we that we have children. You can't be on queue for 1 day, 2 days. What your children? You have to buy black market 400 naira per litre. That's what make the transport increase mostly. Like now, from here to Barnes, we are carrying 150, 100 naira before. Now we are carrying 300, 250.
Hey, thanks to the price.
Yes, from here to AY is 100 naira, but now it's 200 naira. From here to Hussein now is 300 naira.
Don't you think that's inconveniencing people?
No, we that we even drive small motor is better. In the evening where there is hold up now, this coaster you are seeing, they carry from Usebega, Marabanya, is for 400 naira. Do you see? They will just tell you, say, because of fuel, and truly it's not easy.
The effect of this is translated in transport fare for passengers who pay more than double the fare before now.
Of course, as everybody can see, the fuel scarcity has negatively and adversely affected the lives and livelihoods of a majority of common Nigerians. You understand? The prices of transportation have been hiked. Of course, you can't blame the transporters because it's very difficult for them to get fuel. A lot of other people who are car owners have had to maybe abandon their cars, you understand? So, of course, you can't say that's an improvement in the life of anybody. If you say it's an improvement, of course, it's to be on the negative side. So definitely, the lives and livelihoods of common Nigerians have really been negatively affected because of this fuel scarcity. Of course, with the queues around, the time wasted, of course, that alone also is something that does not tell well.
People are really suffering in FCC Abuja, all over Nigeria. So I'm here to say, let government do something about the fare scarcities, and let there be decrease on it.
Motorists and other Nigerians are still looking forward to when the scarcity will end. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And moving away from our shores, President Muhammadu Buhari says the formation of the United Nations Environmental Programme decades ago has created awareness of the need to make climate and environmental action a priority for the world. The Nigerian leader on Thursday called for concerted action to make the organization's effort a success story. Buhari, currently in Kenya, wrote a congratulatory message to the special session to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the UN body. He noted that more actions are needed to overcome climate change, biodiversity, rising levels of pollution and waste. The president also said the desertification and drought are threatening lives and livelihoods, which further underscores the need to boost biodiversity and ecosystem restoration.
Reflect on the past and envision the future. It provides the opportunity to bolster international cooperation and stimulate collective action to address the triple planetary crisis of climate change, nature and biodiversity loss, and pollution and waste. As we all know, no country or continent can address this global crisis alone. Each nation has a central role to play in protecting our people and planet. 50 years ago, after United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm in June 1972, with the efforts of Ambassador Maurice Strong of Canada, many governments became convinced of the need to make climate and environment action a priority. And with Maurice Strong as United Nations Environment Programme's first executive director, the path was clear to what nations need to do make our environment safer, healthier, and better.
And Secretary General of the Norwegian Refugee Council, Jan Egeland, has called for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine, saying aid workers cannot save lives under a hail of bombs and grenades. Egeland, in a statement, said with empty shops, overwhelmed healthcare, and no electricity or safe water, local and international aid groups on the ground must urgently resume work, warning of mounting numbers of civilian casualties across the country. He said the men who started this war sit in safe and comfortable offices, noting that they can end it today and resume meaningful political talks. Meanwhile, Chernihiv regional governor says 9 people were killed and 4 others wounded after Russian air raid hit 2 schools and private houses in Ukraine's northern Chernihiv region. And right now, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Africa's highest-ranked table tennis players, Aruna Quadri of Nigeria, Omar Assar of Egypt, and other African table tennis stars will feature at First World Table Tennis Contender Series, event tagged WTT Contender Muscat at Sultan Qaboos Sports Complex in Oman. Aruna Quadri, alongside Frenchman Simon Gauzy and China's Wang Chuanqing, were added to the list of stars that will participate in Oman. Aruna is drawn in the first round against Belgium's Cedrine Chink, while Assar will face China's Xu Wen. Senegal's Ibrahima Diop will play China's Zhu Qiao, as Egypt's Ahmed Saleh will take on Portugal's Joao Monteiro. In basketball, Nigeria women's basketball team D Tigers has been drawn in Group B alongside host nation Australia, Canada, Japan, Serbia, and France. African champion D Tigers defeated France and Mali to pick World Cup ticket in Serbia in February 2022. 19th FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup will feature world's top 12 women's national teams, with 38 games to be played across 10 days from September 22 to October 4th in Sydney, Australia. That's Sport News. I am Adeni.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and of course follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.